Minecraft roleplay has been a consistent part of the Minecraft ecosystem since the game came out. It's an open-world sandbox game with the ability to customize your near-entire gameplay experience, a wet dream for D&D enthusiasts and 30 kids alike. Though, in the beginning, we had nothing. Not a mod for skin nor camera. If you wanted expressions, you'd have to edit them in. If you wanted camera shots, well, you'd have to buy another account. But we've had many mods to help with roleplay over the years. The most recent of which, the one I would currently call the penultimate, being Blockbuster. This isn't a video on that. It would take too long to cover all that Blockbuster has to offer, especially in a TikTok. Just take my word for it when I say that with the Blockbuster suite, you could make professional, high-quality roleplays the likes of which would rival the old industry standard of AFMAL. The suite, however, is stuck in 1.12.2. And it's understandable why. Blockbuster, Aperture, Metamorph, Chameleon, and Emoticons. They're all complex and weighty mods that interfere quite heavily with the game's code. It could take years to fully port them all. But does that really mean that all Minecraft roleplay should have to take place in 1.12? I really hope not, considering that version of the game runs so poorly, I'm surprised it runs at all. In fact, it's that very question that brought me here. Are there enough mods for a newer version of the game that you could feasibly create a high-quality roleplay? I'd argue there are, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Step 1 is shaders. Basic, I know, but you don't skip the basics. Step 2, resource packs. The default look of Minecraft is just that, the default look of Minecraft. You're going to want to change it if you're looking to immerse the viewer in your world. A roleplay done successfully pushes the awareness of the game to the back of your mind, makes it a method of delivery for the story, and nothing more than that. Taking away your viewer's familiarity with the textures is a good way of doing this. Just remember, by the way, that these rules are more akin to guide railings than concrete commandments. It's entirely okay to ignore me here and go the complete opposite direction, acknowledging that the story is being told through Minecraft and incorporating it into the way it's done. Moving on though, Step 3 would be better resource packs, the type that require you to add mods to your game to use. So I suppose Step 3 would also be mods. Might not want to tell Better resource packs that he has to share the number though. He gets quite territorial about these things. My personal recommendation here are fresh animations, the extras for fresh animations, and fresh moves, specifically the eye variant. It's what's given me this hella geeked out swag. And by that, of course, I mean my bendy bones, and his bendy bones, and my rather dashing eye movement. And don't worry, I am never saying that again. These 3 resource packs require the use of 2 mods known as Entity Model Features and Entity Texture Features, that allow for the messing around of in-game models and things like that. As for the eyes, more than that, you need a custom skin. It doesn't replace your old one, so you don't have to worry about people seeing you eyeless on multiplayer and running screaming for their lives. Hey guys! But if you're worried about making one, don't be. There's a full comprehensive guide on their GitHub. Now that we're on a mod roll though, I'm gonna recommend putting on 3D skin layers, which does as much as it says on the tin, and makes your hat layers 3D. So you don't get the weird floating clipping that you do otherwise. And after that, I'm going to recommend Bobby. It's basically an alternative to Distant Horizons that works with the current mod build and does practically the same thing, allowing you to pump up your render distance much higher than you should be able to, and cache the chunks to give an LOD effect. I don't know if that's actually how it works, but it's a reasonable explanation, and you don't actually need to know how it works to use it. Once you put that in, we get to move on to the more meaty mods that really enable you to start making some good quality roleplays. First thing we're going to need is a camera, and for that, we're not using the replay mod. Please, from this point onward, do not use the replay mod. I'm not saying that because the mod is clearly not meant to be a camera mod, but as advertised a time-lapse mod, although, to be clear, that is one reason. I'm also not saying it because the developers did anything wrong, or because the mod is malicious. To be frank, I just think it's bad. And that sounds mean, but that's because it's meant to be. The replay mod has only stood the test of time for so long, in my opinion, for the simple reason that there have been no notable alternatives for its entire development cycle. Not once in all my time looking, and trust me, I have looked, have I ever come across a competitor. And that's how they've been able to get away with a mod that is so bulky and difficult to use for this long. I don't mean difficult in the sense that it's complicated to use. I don't want you to misunderstand me there. I mean difficult in the sense that it's hard to use. The interface is clunky and imprecise, and in my own opinion, just ugly. Every time you want to scrub the timeline to find a very specific moment to make a keyframe at, it force reloads the entire replay file, which, for time-lapses that take hours to film, well, let's just say it can take a hell of a lot of time. Even more so when you're scrubbing backwards. It's missing so many features that, well, as proven by the next tool, are possible to include in modern versions of the game, but they don't, because the Replay Mod team have chosen to instead focus on consistent backporting to versions where I have to assume it isn't possible, or easy, to add these things. Because it's the only explanation I can think of as to why they wouldn't have included them by now. Especially when the developers decided to stop supporting the Forge branch of the mod, specifically because they said coding in Fabric was easier. Look, I don't want to make this next mod look better by tearing down the Replay Mod. As I stated before, the Replay Mod has been around for years and has been a genuinely beloved asset of Minecraft content creators since I was a little kid. I know we're not owed anything by the developers of the Replay Mod. It's just something they do as a hobby because donations be damned, I doubt it's something they're able to live off of. But I think being given a tool like this next mod I'm about to show you has made me realize how limited the Replay Mod is, and finally let me vent all the frustration years of crashed and lost and clunky projects have given me. The next mod we're going to put in is called Flashback. It only exists for this version of the game, 1.21. And has only existed for the past 3 months. I'm pretty sure it's still in alpha. And it's getting updated very regularly. But it works both to create time-lapses and film video. You've been watching raw output from it for the past few minutes, aside from the little cut-ins that are also filmed with Flashback. It allows you complete control over the day and night cycle, giving you the ability to animate them. You can change the weather in your scene on a whim. I can go from clear to let's have some rain. Or, you know what, let's make it night now. And just like that, I can do it. You can also do things like hide name tags, which for me personally, that's a very big draw. Mainly because in Minecraft, the only way to actually hide name tags is to do some really advanced command work with scoreboards. Which, you know, scoreboards aren't too advanced, but it's still far more advanced than the usual Minecraft player knows how to do. But the biggest, and I mean absolute biggest reason I fell in love with Flashback so quick over the Replay Mod is the fact that you can have multiple cameras. You might want to rotate your phone for this bit. In the Replay Mod, if you want to make a cut in the footage, you have to keyframe the speed of the footage, drag the sliders around as precise as it'll let you get, and even then you still get this ugly and irritating motion blur between points, made worse if you're using shaders. In Flashback, when one camera ends, the next one simply begins. No fuss. Another edge that Flashback has over the Replay Mod actually ties into the next mod you're going to want to get. Simple voice chat. The Replay Mod doesn't natively support recording your voice with SVC. You need an add-on, but Flashback does. It's just turned off by default in the settings. Meaning, if you have actors that are also willing to work as body actors, under the right conditions, they can read their lines in real time and have it be recorded by the software and not suffer a loss in quality because of it. Finally, the last mod I think is absolutely essential to creating some top-tier Minecraft roleplay is motion capture. Not really all that useful for main characters, motion capture is brilliant at livening up the world around them. Background actors are essential to making a world feel lived in. This mod allows you to populate the streets with as many as you want. It's even compatible with the animation resource packs, provided you provide the actors with compatible skins. After all, it's one thing to just be talking to an actor on a set, with nothing happening around you. However, if you zoom out and suddenly there are people walking down the street, the world feels a little more alive. Now, as you were more than likely able to tell from that little demonstration there, the skins walking down the street didn't actually work, even though they render in-engine. So what I've done, well, what I did do before they disappeared on me, is I decided to go through with a different form of skin display. You see, the ones that were running across the street were running from file, which means they were hosted on my computer. I'm hoping that perhaps, because these ones are hosted on Mineskin, that they will display. Because if they do, then, well, I was right, and this is the perfect mod to help fill in background extras. If not, then I take the L in the process of making this TikTok, which I don't particularly want. So let's see. Oh, they're gone again. Let's see how this works out. The last two mods I recommend getting are more of a recommendation than a necessity, which is why I'm including them after that one. But for those that aren't fond of sound mixing and editing, Ambient Sound 6 is the perfect mod for added background ambience that really helps make the world feel alive. And Sound Physics Remastered helps add a little more realism to the sound effects in your game, giving them more depth and direction. Perfect for immersing a viewer in a world you're trying to create. It's really hard staying stable on this horse. I don't ride them very often, if you can't tell. Slam all of those things together and bam! You get the perfect bare bones pack for creating a Minecraft roleplay. Now the only thing that's missing is... Yeah? Yeah, buddy? I'm trying to be inspirational here. Slam all those things... Yeah? Now all that's missing is you. Bitch assholes, come here.